Welcome to EGO NetCast. I am Martin Lindeskog, and this is episode 100, a milestone for me. After many years of podcasting, I started in 2006, and I think this could be convenient to do this and do it as in a fun way. The day after the leap day, so special day, February 29th. I was thinking of doing it earlier on Palindrome Day, but then things happened, so I had to wait for that. And that's one thing with this podcasting, that I started in 2006 and now I'm reaching, after many years, 100 episodes. For your information, so I am a co-host of another podcast called Produktivitet in Swedish. It's productivity and tea, a made-up word in Swedish. And we are now near 100 episodes after 4 years. We have done that every 2 weeks on a fortnightly basis. So that's a perspective to see it. But I have learned a lot during these years. Done many mistakes, and I've tested lots of different tools and so on, and got a knowledge, experience, and also could have a perspective for it for the future. So this is, as a new media advisor, I come into play, and I like this industry, this podcast industry. So what more regarding the leap forward to the C milestone, to use Roman numerals, C for 100. I want to give a shout out and thanks to you, the listeners, over the years listened to my podcast episodes on EGO NetCast and other podcasts that I'm involved in also. And also my co-hosts for different podcasts out there, and service providers, and I've tested several ones during the years here, and clients, podcast clients, and also potential clients and people who have picked my brain and asked me questions for advice and so on. Meetup participants. I have a podcast meetup that I'm doing once a month. Conference and attendees, for example, speaking engagements about the future of podcasting 3 years in Stockholm, and now we have an upcoming unconference in Gothenburg. And also I want to end with here to give a shout out and thanks to Prodos, who started Solid Vox back in the day in 2006. And I will do a quote here from his site, prodos.com.au for Australia. In 2006, I set up a free market podcast network, the Solid Vox, with own show Prodos worldwide, plus training new internet radio presenters in Australia, the USA, Sweden and Korea. These shows are not music shows, they are interviews with fascinating and honorable individuals from around the world. Writers, activists, scientists, philosophers, artists, entrepreneurs and economists. So this is on the site prodos.com.au for Australia. So thanks Prodos for taking this initiative of creating a podcast network back in the day. If you go to Podchaser, and I interviewed Cole Raven, I am involved in 700 plus episodes, depending on how you're counting. I've used services that are no more and lost in cyberspace in a way, but they should be counted also, but they could be hard to find. But I will include that link of my appearances on different shows, like host, co-host, producers, and so on. And as I said, I was thinking of doing this palindrome day, and then I had fun play to use this word. And then I will come to the future here, future schedule. That's what I've been struggling with to do on a regular basis. But my plan is now twice a week, and on Tuesdays tech, and on Thursday Force Hammer. And I will also continue with the interviewing Biz Sugar members at least once a month. That's the plan. And also other that I will have guest appearances. So Tuesday, social media tools, ask Lyceum questions, interviews, etc. And the inspiration is like Net at Night with Amber Mac, Twit TV, Tech TV. And Thursday it will be this venting, analyzing with a twist, and onion peeling, pondering, and so on. And I will talk about alternative news services, articles in The Economist, and there I have some idea here that I will talk in the near future. And the call to action here is to support me in different ways if you value my work here and have enjoyed my podcasting throughout the years. You could go to bio.fm/Lyceum. You could also go to egonetcast.com/support for more options there. And Podcast Business Journal, they wrote about an alternative to Patreon. I like their idea, but there have been lots of debates recently for their service and how they have treated members there. It's up to them because it's their service, so they could decide the rules and so on. But sometimes they have been slanted in a way there, I think. So you could also see how to put ads on your podcast. It's called their blog user journal. I will check that out. And also article there on Medium on recurring payment there. So Podfan is one thing that you could use. Also this Supercast can be one thing, a platform, like a membership platform. Also Overcast is a Podchaser, has said, a pod aggregator or podcatcher app that I like for iPhone. And there you could now add a code, so you will see a $sign in the show notes, and you could then link it, for example, to PayPal. Captivate.fm has a great service with that, so you could include call to actions, and you could sign up to a newsletter, but also then getting donations. So I have linked that to PayPal. So I have that on several shows now on Captivate. And then I have also this coffee that you pronounce as a tea drinker. So I have added the premium service. I pay $5 every month for that service. So I would appreciate to get some support so I could pay that service. And then also I have listed that how much I pay for my podcasting. And it's between $100 and $150 per month, depending on how you count in a way. But yeah, it's reaching $150 per month there. So you could support me in different ways there. If you go to coffee, ko-fi.com/Lyceum. And maybe it's a bit of joke there with coffee reference, and also this COVFEFE that the so-called Commander-in-Chief tweeted middle of the night some time ago. I don't know what that was about, but maybe he needed some coffee or coverage, maybe it was. So that's what I want to do. I will coverage the news and give my observe the news and give my analysis, and then get something for that I'm doing this as a citizen journalist. So, yep. And here recently I read an post here by Ven Bin Fang, and I will check that, so I have it on this resource page there called Listen Notes. And it's funny that you use some services and then you forget about them and then come back to them. And Listen Notes, often you listen through an app or a pod aggregator or pod catcher, but Listen Notes is more on a website, like different lists that you're creating, favorite lists, and he is using it for like a new Wikipedia to find information and so on. So why podcasts are my new Wikipedia, the perfect informal learning resource. And here's the circle is now coming full circle, as you say. Podcast is a great way of learning new knowledge and get inspired, motivated, entertained at your leisure, and as a way you could call podcast time-shifted radio. You listen when you have time. And often it's when you are walking around or doing some other things, but it could also be that you listen on a website, and then Listen Notes is a great way of doing that. So, and you could curate with others' lists and so on. So, as I said, it's a full circle here coming around. From Prodos in 2006 with Solid Vox podcast network to now Lyceum Podcast and Lyceum.fm that want to educate with audio programs. And I have been talking to Zach Davis. He's Vice President of Premium Content of Himalaya application and hosting, and this content creation, Himalaya Plus creator. And then Lyceum, as I said. And we have been talking via email and also FaceTime. Interesting conversations there about the podcasting and Lyceum movement in the USA, and Aristotle School in Athens, Lyceum. And so I'm thinking about creating this premium content uses Himalaya tool there, and also Lyceum.fm, through donations, subscriptions, covering my costs for podcasting. For example, I'm paying $30 per month through EGO NetCast to host it on Libsyn. I appreciate the service and value the service very much. It's included a podcast app, my own standalone app, but it's free, and I'm paying about $100 every year for use to be an Apple developer in order to have this app. And I could then add additional material. So I will do that in the future, but I will also create some kind of premium content that you could donate or subscribe to, so I could cover my cost and also getting motivated to continue with podcasting. Because as you could imagine, during these years I've been thinking about this. Should I continue? How could I develop it? But I'm sticking around, as I've said in the past here. I will continue, and I want to develop it and see what's going on here. So how do you think I should celebrate my milestone? Please give me tips, and send me a note, send me an email, reach out on Twitter, put a comment on the blog post, etc. Maybe doing an audio message. So with that said, I will take a sip here of tea, black tea, Yorkshire blend, and then I will talk to you soon again. Cheers.